Hello everyone, I am Plankera. Today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. Making good progress on the hair. And the hair is the last thing I have to do on the right head turn here, so making decent progress, I think. So I was just taking a look at things and finding some things that I wanted to fix here, and trying to remember what layer it was all on. I think it's here. Yeah, I was looking at the tunnel again. And I just kind of feel like some things need to be tweaked very slightly. It's okay, I get the feeling that this is one of those areas that's gonna be tweaked a lot. It's one of those important areas that I really want to try to get right. So let's see if I can get everything looking fairly smooth there. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's see if that did what I wanted it to do. Looks alright, I think. Let me take a look from further away. Because it's amazing how different things can look when you look at it a little bit further away. Yeah, I think that's pretty alright. So now I'm going to take a look at the highlights through here. See how those are doing. Just want to take a look at all of these things before I move on to the next area. Because I had started this long bank here. But I just want to make sure that I'm happy with everything over on the right side there. Oh yeah, I think this is fine. Probably end up tucking this back a little bit more later, but I'm not going to worry about things down there yet. I'm just going to worry about things near the kind of the center of her hair there. Where her hair is parting down the middle. She has a very complicated one, so. Alright, so now I'm gonna go back to looking over kind of in this area here. Right now I'm focusing on this shadow area, just because I do feel like it defines a lot of things. So I kind of want to get everything there going the right direction. I feel like this little bang here is being a little bit stretched. A little bit more than I want. I don't think I can do much about the end right here, but I can at least get the rest. Try to make that angle a little bit softer. Something like that, maybe. As always, I just kind of make some, calling them guesses is kind of underselling the amount of thinking that I do, but hypothesis. We'll call it a hypothesis. Make a hypothesis about what is wrong and what will look better, and then I try it. I test it. That's why I go back and forth between arming the perimeter and moving things around so frequently. In the end, you kind of have to. It's because how it looks in motion is just as important, if not more important, compared to how it looks when things are just static and when it's just sitting still. So it's pretty important that I move things back and forth quite a lot. And I generally only do small tweaks before I start going back and checking my work, because I've found that when I try to move too many things at once, I just get confused. So I prefer just doing one or two things at a time. Sometimes I don't always follow this advice, but at that point I do just get confused. It generally yields poor results, so, and trying to be better about being patient. Being patient is hard. I've never been very good at it. I think it's a bit more than I wanted to move that. There we go. That's better. I just felt like that part was just a tiny, tiny bit off. Then my hand went and tried to make this giant movement, and I'm like, what are you doing, hand? You're being incredibly silly. So I'm just gonna try to smooth out this area here. Looks like it got a little bit lumpy. Autosave. Trying to help me out, but interrupting my workflow briefly. I remember it was way worse on my personal model here. So that was that was an interesting experience. I remember that by default I think it autosaves like every 5 minutes, and I had to change it to every 15. Just because being interrupted like that every 5 minutes was absolutely maddening. I just made sure to manual save a little bit more often. But honestly, I've found that the 15-minute autosave is doing just fine for me. My computer's pretty stable and pretty powerful. And I can deal when it comes to losing work, so... It's never pleasant or fun, but I can deal. I don't tend to tilt too hard. Alright. Okay, so I think I got this highlight looking pretty good here, so let's go back to this triangle. And I was noticing that this kind of feels like it's collapsing a little bit. And that this highlight is just not in the right place in the slightest. Let's try to get some of these things into the right place. That's already a lot better, honestly. Still kind of feel like the tip of this triangle is not pointing in the right direction, though. So let's try to get that going the right direction. I think figuring out where some of these things go will make figuring out this top area a little bit easier. Yeah, that's already quite a bit of improvement, I think. So let's tweak some things around that highlight there, too. I want to get him in the right place, too. Everyone needs to be in the right place. Everyone will have a nice little spot that they can live. And it'll be great. Alright. This is coming together pretty quickly, actually. It's funny, because I think on the left head turn it took me a little bit longer to really get that into place. I don't think it's quite perfect yet, but now things up here are bothering me more, so I'm gonna go up here. It's one of those things. I don't mind just going where my mind takes me here. Just let it lead me around and just being like, oh yes, there's a part over there I don't like. Let's go touch it now. Go touch it. Go make it nice. There we go, something like this. The point that I'm looking at right now is... This point kind of goes up and around and has its apex right there. In fact, I think I'm actually going to turn off the head just so I can follow a little bit better. And then it goes down. So I'm trying to get this point and these angles coming off of it right. Not quite there, but closer. Hit the gear instead of the circle. So I'm just paying attention to some of the features around there. Like, for this particular movement, I noticed that the highlight was stretching out a little bit. So that told me that that particular vertex controlling it was probably a little bit too low down, or further down the hair than it should be. So now that I've put that back, I'm starting to get closer to the shape that I was going for. It's working out. Got an eyelash in my eye. Phew. It's making my eyes all blurry. definitely cannot do any intense staring when my eyes are all blurry. Okay. I'm just gonna try to get these shadows and all that in the right place. I noticed that this little pink area was sliding a bit too far down, so I wanted to put him back. And it's getting there. Things are actually moving quite well for me right now, so I'm very pleased. Okay, nope, way overdid that. See, I thought this piece went a little bit flatter, but it actually doesn't. It actually stays pointing upward quite a bit. Things that surprised me. My brain was not expecting that. This is why you gotta trust your eyes, too. Really look in and see what's not quite working out. I do think a lot of learning how to draw early on is just learning how to trust your eyes instead of your brain. Because your brain is efficient, your brain is smart. It likes to simplify things. Make things easy to understand. And that's not always a great thing when you're trying to really capture something's likeness. Basically, your brain lies to you sometimes. Gives you approximations. And so early on, it's really paying attention to what your eyes are actually taking in and teaching your brain how to not simplify things. How to actually take the information that your eyes are giving you and see all of it. And not make any guesses. Just take things as they are. Like, man, I took my kids to the park yesterday, and it was super cloudy, so I didn't think we'd need sunscreen, but I think I might have sunburned my nose a little bit. It's been very itchy. Like, itchier than usual. My ear appears a little bit funny, too, so... Alas, I really did think it was cloudy enough that I could avoid it, because putting sunscreen on toddlers is a pain. Well, it's pain putting it on myself too, but especially when you have to put it on toddlers. But I shouldn't have been lazy. I feel like there's a lesson in there somewhere. Be lazy, get sunburned. Sounds about right. It's okay, taking my kids to the park is always a good time. My daughter's getting to the age where she's really socializing a lot, and she's having to learn which kids to play with and which ones not to play with. There's this boy there that is, I don't know, he's probably like 4 or 5, something like that. And every time, like, they'll play tag or something, and every time she gets close to catching him, he just either declares that he's not playing anymore, or, you know, stuff like that. Whatever would make it so he doesn't get tagged. And I just feel bad. She gets very upset. Because she is 4 and has not yet learned how to control these things. Just recognizes that this is unfair, but isn't really sure what to do about it. I just want to give her a hug. As much as I wish that she'd just find someone better to play with, because there are other kids there on Tuesdays that this is a lesson she will eventually have to learn for herself. But I hope it's one she learns soon. It's never any fun trying to do anything with people that won't meet you halfway or even, play by the rules. That is one thing I've been enjoying about art lately, is that I can just kind of do my own thing. It is my universe, I create all the rules, I do what I want, and nobody can really tell me otherwise. They can have their own opinions and feedback, of course, but I don't have to listen to them. It's mine. I do what I want. And sometimes it's kind of nice to have just one thing where you control everything. Alright, so I'm just doing more intense staring, because now back around here is bothering me more than up here, so I'm gonna head back to working on that again. Like I said, I can do what I want. It's mine. I make all the decisions. So just trying to get this point up to, I guess, where it's facing the right direction and all that stuff, and I noticed that there was a bit of sliding upward. So I'm trying to put all that back too. Trying to figure out the optimal placement for making it look a little bit more 3D. It's with her head turning this way, I feel like we should see a little bit more of the inside here, and a little bit less of everything going on here. But at the same time, whenever I try to change the angle on this even slightly, it just looks wrong when it's in motion. So I'll just be very careful about doing that. Let's see. This tiny dark area right there, I think, is sliding upward a little bit, so let's pull him down. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. I describe a lot of these things as a lot better, even though they're such small details, but I do see the difference personally. I may not be moving things much, but I do think that all these tiny corrections add up. That's why I'm willing to spend so long on each and every one of them. I think it's worth it. Worth it to get everything looking the way I want it to be. Alright, now it looks like this highlight is moving downward a little bit. Probably just overdid my correction on it a little while ago. That's fine. I'll just put it back. I'll just put it on back. So even if a mistake is made, I can fix it. It's all good. Mistakes aren't that big a deal. They'll happen. But there are ways you can either fix it or just incorporate it into your picture. Sometimes It's not a mistake, it's just your brain having a better, or your arm having a better idea than your brain did. Your brain can look at it and just be like, oh, that's actually kind of cool, let's keep it. Like I said, brains can seem kind of dumb, but I think overall they're pretty smart. They're just doing their best for you. They just don't always know what to do. And that can lead to problems. Just making some tiny adjustments because I noticed that some things looked like that they were sliding downward again. All that good stuff. But I think this is looking pretty alright. Very, very minor slide. I don't think it'll be at all noticeable once I zoom out. Alright, so now I can come back up here and try to finish things up here. And I think that would actually be the strand. It actually went really well. Always nice when that happens. I like it when art cooperates with me. It makes me happy. Makes it easier to just kind of sit back and create more things. The struggle can be nice, but, you know, if you don't have to struggle, it's fine. When things just come together. And everything just seems to want to work with you today. It's a nice feeling. I'm hoping that if this kind of feeling keeps up, I'll be able to draw more after stream. I've been taking a break. Nope, didn't like that change. Let's try again. Not that layer. This one. Okay, that time I don't blame my hand for getting confused, because I had been working on the side bang for so long, and now I'm just doing something else for a little bit. Just want to get this little part right here. Doing exactly what I want it to do. Because I think now that I have this mostly solidified in place, I should be able to figure out where this guy should live. And that guy will help me figure out where some of these next few layers should live. And it'll be very nice. Part of me kind of wishes I didn't make the mesh quite this detailed. It is always a trade-off between how well it moves and how annoying it is to work with. Might have crossed the line into, oh man, this is really annoying to work with. Okay, it happens. I do that a lot. Because I always want to try for the best thing that I can manage. And sometimes I might try a little bit too hard. Results in detailed unyielding mesh, among other things, and other aspects of my life. I have to tell myself hard work is important, but it's not the end-all be-all. Sometimes there are other things you just gotta pay attention to. Anyway, I was noticing that things are sliding up again. So I wanted to push some of those areas down. See if that'll help me figure out exactly what's going on here. And why these last couple of spots aren't just going into place like they should. nose is just extremely itchy. Try not to let it break my focus, but it's a bit hard. And every few minutes I'm just like, oh god, nose is itchy! Send help! Alright. So let's try to straighten some of this out a bit. Some of it looks just a bit crooked. I'll try to do some more staring here. Try to figure out exactly what's bothering me. Yeah. Feels like there's just the lump there is not quite right. Let's try pushing it down just a little bit. And here, a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. Let's zoom out here. It's also possible that my eyes are just getting tired of looking at that spot, and it's ready to go mess with something else for a little while. Okay. Me hitting the gear wheel again. I think I just moved the center part a little bit too high. Okay, yeah, that helped a bit. And now the next thing I think is this highlight. I think it needs to be a little bit higher here. Something about the angle, especially right there, just felt off to me. So time to see exactly what I can do with that. Yeah. Just a little bit off right through here. Not too bad, but I think I can do it better. Let's do it better. Like I said, I try pretty hard on everything I do. Sometimes to the point that it kind of veers into perfectionism. That's okay. I really like trying to make everything just look the best it can. I noticed that the line here was kind of looking like it was getting compressed, just getting super thin, and it wasn't working for me, so I thickened it up a bit. And I just thickened it up a bit. Didn't seem like it wanted to be quite so thin there. Yeah, there we go. That's already a little bit better. Not quite there, but much closer than it was. There we go, something like that. Yeah, I think that actually solved quite a lot of the problems that I was having. So maybe I finally found the problem. That moved way more than I wanted it to, so let's try that again. The other area that I was noticing was around this highlight and shadow area, where it seemed like, yeah, the shadow was moving upward, but now it looks like it's moving downward. So probably needs this to be just a little bit higher, and then maybe here just a little bit higher. Something like that. Yeah, there we go. That's actually a lot better. I'm pretty sure that this area is about done. I'm not even sure if I needed to adjust that. Just because I don't think it's going to be very noticeable when I zoom out, but it was bothering me, so I went ahead and fixed it. It's fine. Like I said, when you're doing art, you can do what you want. So now I'm going to take a look, a little bit zoomed out. Still not really concerning myself with anything further than about here. About where the rings of highlights are. It does look like the highlights here are going up a little bit more than they should. I'll bring them down just a little bit. Just a little bit. The tiniest little bit. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So now I can start bringing on some of these other behind layers. There we go. Bring on the next couple. See if we can get all those into the right place. Yeah, and everything is much easier to see now that this side bang is in the right place. So hopefully that'll help me identify the exact locations of everything here. So for this layer, the important parts are the angles here, and of course, where it comes up here, and then this pink area. So that's where I will be paying the most attention. If I can get those areas consistent, it should look more like she's turning as opposed to just stuff randomly moving around. Now let's see here. How exactly do I want this to look? That's the question I need to ask myself. So far, I think I like the effect right in this area. But like I said, the important part is actually the top here. And I think a lot of that is going to get covered. But I kind of want to know the gist of where all that's going. Just so I can keep the angles on the parts that will be showing a little bit more consistent, even after it's covered. But I think this is probably okay. Like, I think I will have an easier time figuring out exactly what's wrong with the next layer on top. So I'm going to go ahead and add him. No, not that one. This one. There we go. Now this one I know is pretty far off. This one, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work with. I remember being a little bit intimidated by this one yesterday. It's because it's like, it looks so bad right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's okay. That's why I'm here. Tell the computer what to do. And get everything going to the right place. It's sliding so much. Okay. So, a lot of big movements that have to be done first before I can get into too much. I need it to follow these highlights a little bit better. Just need to follow those highlights a bit better. It kind of needs to go around them. Just barely covering the edge there. Yeah, I think that's about right. Pull this over. Loof it out a bit. Make it look a little bit rounder. So this way it'll look more like her head is turning as opposed to just a two-dimensional image changing angle slightly. Okay, I overdid it a little, but that's to be expected. I'm doing big movements. With big movements comes big mistakes. It happens. Okay, so I think the next big step is going to be to get that highlight in the right place. It needs to be pulled down. Everything kind of got pulled up a little bit here. But it's already looking better, so could be worse. Could be much worse. Alright. So I think the next thing to get is this shadow. Just taking all these little landmarks and trying to match them up with how they are on the front view. Because the closer they match, the more it'll look like a turn as opposed to just, I don't know, something moving around. It's always funny to see the floating face. I'm not sure why it amuses me so much, but it does. Just all the things you do to be able to see what you're doing when you're trying to rig something. Results in some pretty incredible things, I think. Like, yeah, you have to be amused by these things, otherwise they'll just make you sad. Okay, so I'm still kind of also looking at this highlight in these three little spots. And they're not moving right. So let's see if I can figure out why. Some of it is just that this area is getting smaller because the head is turning, and so we see less of this strand. In an ideal world, I might have put it behind the connecting hair, but I don't want to mess with layer order for this. I think that could get pretty messy. So I'm just going to do it like this. This is already not looking too bad, so I think that's totally doable. I'll just get it going. Where'd this layer go? Here it is. I just lost it for a second then. You know, it happens all the time, no big deal. When there's this many hair layers, it's easy to get lost. I think I might have accidentally pulled everything a little bit too far to the right. Let's just pull this little tip area just a bit further out. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'm not so sure that this is 100% right, but overall I think it's mostly okay. Let me just make a small adjustment through here. At the very least, I think I'm ready for the next area here. Is that you? No, it's probably either an underneath or something on the other side. Let's take a look here. So this layer, this is here. Yeah, I think I want something on the other side here. Let's try to find which one it is. Probably not that one yet. Don't think I'm ready for main. Because main is... Well, I guess I can do main, actually. Main is just there. Kinda adds more context to the rest of that. So let's do it. We'll do main. Man, that's just making her head look so flat. It's so funny. Look at that. Okay. Well, that already makes the first step clear. We take this, make it big, and go pop. We just pull this out. It can no longer hide. No more hiding. Come show yourself. All your glory. Okay. That should already make a considerable difference. Overdid it a little bit, but what else is new? I'll just pull it back a little bit. And I kind of want to smooth out some of the stuff around here. Yeah, it's funny. I remember on the other head turn, since all of this was being more hidden since the head was turning the other direction, that none of this was really relevant to me in the last one. Most of this was hidden by other strands. But here it's much more visible. Always funny how that works out, but that's entirely by design. That's why I drew more than I needed to when I was cutting out the art. It is inevitable. Gotta be ready. Gotta be ready for these things to happen. Yeah, I do feel like the strand is still sliding around a bit, but I need to look at something else for a little bit. This would be a good time to smooth some things out, but honestly, everything's looking fairly smooth right now. I've been pretty happy with how things were going. Like I said, art is cooperating. It's being friendly to me. I greatly appreciate it. Ah, thanks, Art. You know I love you. There are points of frustration, but I always have a good time. And I'm always happy to continue working on things. Well, let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty okay. The part that I'm looking at is this part up here. I think it's alright. I was noticing a little bit of shifting with this strand here. So let's go ahead and fix that up a little bit. It's like this part might be a little bit off. I can tell that my eyes are not calibrating correctly, but yeah, I actually think this tip might be a little bit too low. Bring them back up just a little bit here. But I think for the most part it looks pretty good. The outside is roughly in the right place. Just making some small adjustments here and there. Try to find the last little bits of areas, or little bits of stuff and areas and spots and all the things that are just not quite working for me. And I feel like it's growing a little bit, and yeah. Let me see, do I need to edit the mesh for this? I think I do, actually. Because I was just noticing a problem near the top there. Where this was not correctly going that way. And it's causing problems here, so I needed to fix that. But now I should be able to bend things the way I want them to bend. There we go. So much easier when you actually mesh it correctly. That's why I do try to get all those details right the first time through when I'm just doing the initial meshes, but a lot of the times I do miss a spot or two. It's not that big a deal. I mean, you saw it took me like 20 seconds to make that little fix. It's not that big a deal if I mess it up. I feel like things are getting a little bit wrinkly down at the bottom there. I'm not sure how much I care right now. Okay, I care a little bit. It's bothering me too much. I do care a little bit. Let's see if I can straighten this out. Make it all better. Try to kind of get everything in the right place. This is a little bit further down than I was initially planning on going, which is why I said I wasn't sure how much I care. But it's like then I see it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I gotta fix it. I gotta. It looks so bad. Try to get rid of some of that crunchiness there, and I think that's pretty okay. Like, it's kind of like that in the original to an extent, so. I think it's all getting pretty close. Just kind of need to go back in and adjust things around here. Since they got kind of distorted by me pushing everything upward. But that had to be done. Everything was shifting downward and it looked not great. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Let me take a look at something here. Yeah, I guess they do kind of slant downward. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. Yeah. That's why I say you have to trust your eyes. Believe in what your eyes are seeing. Your brain will try to tell you things. But if your eyes say otherwise, when it comes to art, you gotta trust your eyes. Gotta reconcile those differences in your brain and really pay attention, because your eyes know what's up. Just gotta train your brain to recognize what your eyes are seeing a little bit better. I think that is the first step to getting good at art. So there's a disconnect. If you can really understand what your eyes are seeing, then you can help your brain make sense of it all. Brains, sometimes they need a little bit of help. That's why we have all these other specialized organs too, and we're not just floating brains. Okay, this is looking okay. Go ahead and zoom out. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good, actually. I think I just want to tuck everything in a little bit. Right here. Just tuck it. Make it a little bit more cozy. And then over here I need to pull it out so it's covering through here. There we go. There we go, that's a bit better. I'll worry about the bottom later, but I want to make sure that everything up at the top is looking pretty good. At least the parts in the purple area. This shadow, still not quite right. So let's see if we can make him just a little bit happier. Get him in just a little bit of a better spot. Something like that. Alright, I think it's pretty close. Just a little... couple of shenanigans are right around here. No big deal. Just lift those up a little bit. You're feeling a bit down, a little bit sad. So we gotta lift them up. Then we just need to point him in the right direction. Okay, very nice. Now then, the little shadow right underneath it. Got pulled up a little bit too high in the process of doing all that. Still a little bit too high, it looks like. And this little, like, area right there is where I see it the most clearly. And this just tiny little light spot. A little bit lower. Just a little bit lower. Yeah, there we go. I think this is pretty okay. I might go touch it up a little bit later. Going through a lot of strands today, because I just kind of want to get a lot of the big picture done. And then once I have that, I can start going in and fixing a bunch of the small details. Sometimes those small details are easier to see when there's lots of layers doing stuff. Okay, so there's probably an underneath strand that I was looking for. Yeah. There he is. Wow, look at that guy wiggle. Whoop. Whoop. He has no idea what's going on. Let's get him back over here. Get him back to where he belongs. So right now, I don't think he even knows what's going on. As always, when I work in these areas, I try to find where the apex should be, the very top, and then the angles from there. So I'm just trying to get the top and the bottom into the right place before I care too much about anything else. I still kind of feel like I need to move that black area and then some of the stuff around here. That's probably too far for the stuff around there, but is the black area good? Yes. So now I can tuck the area right here a little further back. So something like this. Yep, that's pretty close. Let's turn on another layer. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be okay. Let's see, which layer is this? Is it that one? Yes, I believe it is this one. Man, look at him being pulled in every which direction. Yeah, we gotta help this guy out. Just being stretched. It looks so uncomfortable. Yeah, looks like normally I like doing the big picture stuff and the details at the same time, but today my brain has decided it only wants to do big picture stuff. So I'm just gonna get things started, and then hopefully my brain of tomorrow will be a little bit more detail orientated. That's okay. All these things have to be done. I think it's just a result of my brain getting a little bit tired. Okay, so now I should be able to do this one. And we'll start trying to get this roughly into the right place. And then I'll do all the details tomorrow. But the best part is that I'll have lots of areas to look at. So even if my brain gets tired of one area or just gets too used to looking at one area, I'll have lots of other places to go to. And plenty of other places to look around. So hopefully that'll make my life a little bit easier. May future me have a good time. I don't mind doing a bunch of detail stuff, so getting some of this down is okay by me. Okay, reasonable enough start. Let's turn on another layer. Here, strand. That. Okay, so I probably want the one on the other side first. This one. It's like, yeah, at this rate, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get all the layers turned on. Probably not all of them. I'm not gonna do the strands, and I'm not gonna do the back hair yet. But all the other ones will be there. It's like, man, a lot of the ones here are just going whoosh, sliding so far over. Getting so confused. It's alright. We'll get them good homes. And then they can go do whatever they want. Yeah, that's a lot better. Not perfect, but a lot better. Still see a bunch of stuff sliding around, but that's okay. We'll see how many of these layers I go back and hide tomorrow, but I don't mind. We'll just get the basics done today. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Indulge my brain on a little bit of big picture stuff today. Something like that, maybe. My goodness, her hair is just so poofy. Look at that poof. I always forget how poofy it is until I get all the layers back. It's like it almost looks sensible when I only have half of them visible. And here she just has a lot of hair. lost the layer. There it is. Okay. Got confused for a second. I think most of this layer will be hidden. Just because it's so far in the back. And so it makes sense that a lot of it would just be covered up. I think I'm actually gonna have to touch the vertices, even though I'm just doing big picture stuff. That's fine. That's totally fine. But then again, maybe not. Maybe I can do all of this with the brush. It's always easier when I can. So yeah, I think it's pretty close to being acceptable, I guess. Just a little bit more poof out here. Guess I'm touching the vertices directly for this. That is also fine. Alright, how's that? Not bad. I think I'm pretty satisfied with the progress today. Got most of the layers on. A lot of them not entirely in the right spot, but they're maybe, I don't know, 60% in the right spot. So tomorrow, I think will be details. Details on all the strands here. Some of them might end up being hidden again, but that's fine. The me of tomorrow can deal with all that. I just wanted to kind of get some stuff into roughly the right place here. So this is where I will stop for today. Thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on Twitter or Instagram and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye. You